Game 5 win that gave them the NBA championship, beating the Dallas Mavericks. Now, they've had an easy run into these finals due to injuries in the Eastern Conference. Do you think people will try to put an asterisk on this championship because of that?
No, and no. Because nobody remembers the road to the championship because it's not, who cares? It's did you win a championship or not? And frankly, that narrative is disrespectful to what these guys did. They're not responsible for other teams' injuries and how other teams play. And okay, Jimmy Butler's out, the Greek Freak is out. Choka Burton didn't play a couple games in the series. So what? They had to deal with their own issues as well, namely Porzingis missing the last couple months of the season and really effectively only playing in 2 of their postseason games combined, right, in this series against the Dallas Mavericks. But it's disrespectful. And that's going to be the narrative of some that, it doesn't really count. Yes, it counts. Yes, it's a title. And too bad to those other franchises, mine included, that had a bunch of injuries, that derailed their attempt to try to get to where the Boston Celtics got to. If you want to talk about the Boston Celtics this year, in a championship year, talk about them the way they are, the best team in basketball.
Yep.
I don't like the Celtics as a Knicks fan, but I respect the hell out of these guys. I love Tatum's game, love Brown's game, and I've grown an affinity for Joe Mazzulla, who a year ago was on the hot seat after replacing Ime Udoka, who couldn't keep his you-know-what in his pants and got himself fired to go to NBA Russia, which is known as the Houston Rockets right now. The dude came in with no experience, 34 years old at the time, he's 35 now, and all he did was keep his composure, stay consistent with who he is and what he believes in, and the team rallied around him. And he is as much a champion as the 12 guys that play for the Boston Celtics. And it bothers me as a sports fan that not just us, but in general, we try to find the negative. Well, what negative can we say about the Celtics winning a championship? Oh, the other teams were hurt. Oh, it was an easy road. I've said this a million times. As a fan of teams that have never won, I have one title in my lifetime as a sports fan, and it was the '86 Mets. It got so bad for me, I turned coat and I became a Yankee fan, just trying to get a championship. And I built the church, Mets fans for Yankees. And a lot of people joined me because we were tired of losing, Tim Hardaway. And it bothers me when a team does win a championship and haters out there are going to try to poke holes in the championship. 10 years from now, nobody's going to say, oh, Tatum and Brown won a title, but do you remember who they played to get there? Pardon my language, but F that. These guys are champions. It's well-deserved, and they've now gotten individually that proverbial monkey off their back as guys like Malone, like Stockton, who got there a lot but could never quite get the job done. Good for them.
I remember when this whole thing first started, and I'll take it back to college when Brad Stevens was the coach at Butler, because they beat Michigan State in the Final Four way back in 2010. Sure. So then, he becomes the head coach of the Boston Celtics. And look at this team that he put together. Gordon Hayward was a member of his basketball team who was his player at Butler, and he had to trade him. So you look at all the moves that he made. Drew Holiday, obviously the Milwaukee Bucks didn't appreciate him.
Sure.
Now he's a 2-time
And
champion.
the trades he did make.
Yeah, you trade Kemba Walker, like you say, you trade Marcus Smart, which nobody agreed with at the time. And he has put together this team, and now they're world champions. And I can see moving forward, teams taking the recipe of what he has created. You have 5 guys on defense who can switch and play man-to-man defense. So the league is changing right before our eyes, and you just can't say enough about what he did with the organization.
Timmy, your thoughts?
Danny Ainge and got Tatum and Brown.
Yep.
He got Marcus Smart, and he traded, Danny Ainge traded, what's his name, for a couple other guys. But when Mazzulla was assistant coach with the Boston Celtics, and he understood what he had to do and bringing this team together and making them win a championship. Udoka was going to do that, but stuff happened.
Yes.
But Mazzulla last year, I don't think he was on the hot seat. I just thought that this was his first year, and he tried to understand what he needed to do to be a championship coach.
Yeah, Tatum got more of the blame than Mazzulla did, but he still was thought of as a potential.
But Brad Stevens was not going to fire him.
Okay.
He wasn't going to let him go because that's Brad Stevens' guy, Mazzulla. And Brad Stevens brought him in as one of his assistant coaches. And he brought, if we remember, he brought my man in that went to Georgia Tech in the guard, and to help Mazzulla be a real good coach. And when he exited to go to Georgia Tech to be the head coach, his name is Stoudemire. When he went to be the head coach, then Mazzulla kind of lost understanding because he had to be the coach, the assistant coach, and understand how to bring his team along. Then they brought in Sam Cassell to help him out, to help win and make this team go as a team it is now. So, it's a lot of pieces that had to form to make this team win, but I'm going to tell you this. Them guys out there on the court understood Tatum, Brown, White, even the old man.
But they're a really good basketball team.
But the old man,
Al
Horford, brought this team together, and they said, look, there's only one thing we got to do. Forget all the accolades, forget all this, forget all that. We got one thing we got to do, and that's win a championship. No matter who wins the MVP, no matter who go to the All-Star game, no matter who makes the most money, we got to come as one and be a team and win a championship, and that's what they did. Now, I'm going to tell you this. Everybody get on Jaylen Brown for the money. You can't get on Jaylen Brown for the money.
Not anymore, you can't.
No, I'm talking about before, because that's what the collective bargaining agreement has said.
But here's the point.
1, 2, 3, you got to give them that money.
When you get that contract, it's hard to live up to for some guys. So here's a guy that got the $300 million contract. And what did he do? Won a championship.
And it was a lot
Eastern
of
Conference Finals MVP.
Yes, and
was NBA Finals MVP.
And when he got that contract, it was a lot of doubters and there was a lot of haters on him. So he proved to them that they're wrong about him, and he went out there and did what he's supposed to do, and he stayed the course of the.
Well, I'll tell you this, Timmy. We talk about dynamic duos a lot, and what backcourt's better than this backcourt. What two guys are better than any other two guys, and we talk about in Denver. Oh, well, what about Jokic and Murray? And you talk about what we thought might happen in Phoenix this year, and of course, Kyrie and Luka and all that stuff. But right now, in the moment. And this can't be argued because they lifted a trophy last night. Everybody is now chasing Tatum and Brown.
Why not everybody?
Everybody, other than maybe the Knicks. I'm with you on that.
Let's say everybody chasing the Boston Celtics. Because it was the Boston Celtics. You're going to have two players on that team that did what they supposed to do, but everybody's chasing the Boston Celtics.
But I'm saying what people talk about is
the
dynamic duos.
The non-basketball people, the non-basketball people talk about that. The real basketball people talk about the Boston Celtics, why they won, and we know why they won.
But the question now is, what duo is going to upstage the greatness of Tatum and Brown next year? That's going to be the question this offseason. Who can beat those two guys? Because, look, the East ain't getting any better.
No,
the Boston Celtics will be the #1 seed next year, too.
I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
The New York Knicks, they're going to be tough.
Talk about it.
Indiana Pacers going to be tough.
To the Knicks.
The Knicks going to be tough if they stay healthy.
Yes.
And if they sign
Bucks.
OG.
Yes.
And the Bucks going to be healthy. I'm going to tell you this. Like I said before, if the Knicks was healthy, they would have gave the Knicks a run for their money. No question about that.
The Celtics, I agree 100%.
No,
The one team, look, the Celtics are the better team.
Right.
But the one team the Celtics wanted no part of was the New York Knicks platform. You know that.
Let's just all agree that the New York Knicks will not beat the Boston Celtics in any series moving forward as long as Tatum and Brown are there.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
But, Craig, we do talk about dynamic duos a lot, and one of the things that we need to address is the dynamic duo on the losing side. Kyrie and Luka, both were pretty disappointing yesterday, particularly Kyrie. Were you disappointed in what you saw from the Mavericks in this series?
Was I disappointing? Not personally, no. I think Kyrie Irving's going to look back, and if he's capable of having this type of feeling, he's going to have to look at himself and say, I let my team down, because for as great as he is, he had a bad NBA Finals. He had one good game, and that was Game 4. And look, the Celtics have had his number ever since he left to go to Brooklyn. He's lost 12 out of the last 13 games against the Boston Celtics, and he plays like crap in Boston specifically. This doesn't change the legacy, I don't think, at all, of who Kyrie Irving is as a basketball player. He's still one of the 5 greatest guards, in my opinion, to ever play basketball. He had a bad series. He's got to own the fact that he had a bad series. But they didn't lose in 5 games solely